to have a look at 0 point with you. So let's ask you first, how are you feeling? Do you feel sometimes like time is just passing you by and you're not doing enough with it? Or you're scrabbling to find the energy to get started and get moving with things? And in that case, maybe this is going to be useful, because it really helps to know what's going on under the surface of reality. I'm giving you here concepts, okay, and the science is embedded in those concepts. But really, if you want to explore more, and I do suggest very strongly that you do explore more, you want to actually get into a search engine and look up these things for yourself and find out where the analogies work for you, how you can interpret them, and add to that knowledge bank that you're collecting right now. 0 point then. It's a bit of an enigma, the 0 point field. Some speculate it's not real, it's not really there, but Tesla apparently came very close to being able to access the 0 point field and potentially draw the infinite resource of energy that's available there. The trouble is that the 0 point field is very hard to find, so it takes somebody like Tesla to come along with an idea that it could be breached at all. It's very hard to find because there are no forces, there's no movement, there's no particle interaction in the 0 point field. There's basically nothing tangible, that is, nothing tangible in the 0 point field. But all the other things that happen at the baseline of our reality are obviously drawing their energy from somewhere. And that's what I want to have a look at today and see where this leads. If we take quarks, for instance, I've got a setup here on my Heath Robinson flip chart arrangement. Here I've actually illustrated in writing the masses of these quarks, to give you some idea in context of the amount of energy that they contain and the changes, the enormous change that's taking place as the quark flavor mixing occurs. So I've talked about this previously, how quarks morph and meld from one thing to another on a constant flow thanks to the gluons that are holding them together. But in the quark field, that strong force that's holding them together is not the force that's giving them the energy to create this bedrock of reality, this fundamental foundation of the reality in which we exist. Up and down quarks, they're the most common ones. They make up, apparently, according to scientific research, the bulk of our reality system. Then you've got the strange and charm quarks that weigh in somewhere in the middle. The strangeness of quarks is the longevity of their life, their existence, the length of time from their appearance to their decay or their departure into some other format is long, and it's strange. So that's essentially what strangeness is in quark matter. Then you've got these gargantuan things here. The beauty quark that weighs in at 4.19 GeV, enormous. And the truth quark, even bigger, I mean substantially bigger than a molecule, huge thing, 172 GeV that weighs in at, apparently. How quark mass is calculated? Well, you go into the research and see, because I'm not going into the science in any more depth than this, not today. But bearing in mind that it's constantly changing, these two are harder to find than these two. These two are easy to find, they're common or garden quarks. These are incredibly hard to find, beauty and truth quarks. They're only found in particle accelerator experiments, really. It's very, very difficult to detect where they sit in our reality construct. But who knows? There may be a lot more beauty and truth in our reality system than science can give credit for, because it's not finding those particles in living things. It's not looking. There aren't any experiments to determine how quark flavour mixing might be different in living tissue, living things, than it is, for instance, in the proton that's being whizzed around at CERN. So we don't know yet how this actually works within us, but we can deduce that the energy that's required for its momentum and its continuous flow comes from somewhere, and the 0 point line is the bedrock. So, energy then, let's translate it to frequencies. The frequency of a waveform, if it's very high, it's high in energy. If it's a very low wave, then it's low in energy. But wherever the waveform might sit, it has to get its energy from somewhere, and it has to contribute its energy to somewhere. So here we have this 0 point line that gives everything that basis for where it gets its energy from, and that by default has to include us. We have to also gain our energy from the same baseline as everything else does. In terms of time, well, let's have a little recap on time, shall we? It's not linear, okay? There's no arrow of time from the past to the future. It's not an arrow, it's a torus, it's a donut. So you've got past waves and future waves converging into the present in a donut format. So that's where all these possibilities and probabilities sit. The possibility that you are in the situation that you are in now is one of an infinite range of possibilities that exist in this torus of time. And that's why you can change your trajectory anytime you like. Very often changing trajectory is a matter of viewing the past differently. Because when you view the past differently, you open up the possibility to move into a different position within the present line to go towards another position in the future. We all want to change our position from where we are to where we're going. The very best thing that we can do in heading for the outcomes that we want is to shift our perception in a positive way towards the way we view the past. The way we view the past relates to how we deal with the future. And this is how we move in this torus donut ring format. Here is a cascade of those possibilities that come down into all the permutations of what could possibly be, which are open to you at any point in time. And it might not seem like it, because you know what it feels like to be trapped there in the, oh my God, the always and never self-speak that you get. It's always going to stay this way, it's never going to be any different. That happens a lot, it happens to us all. But the long and the short of it is that we are constantly moving through the flux of all the other things that I've talked about in this series, 0 point energy, quarks, flavour changing, neutrinos, all the things that happen in the quantum world. Very, very much relate to us and are very important to know. That's a brief overview of the time picture. If you want to know more about that, then go and visit the time video, because it's all there. Thank you. Yeah, so there you go. So in terms of time, we've got these waves of past and future constantly converging in on the present moment. And that present moment is where we exist in particle reality. Okay? It's a standing wave, if you like. All these waves of past and future are moving all the time, being waves. And our existence is on a standing wave point that's constantly moving. So I could move, if I move this diagram, then you would be able to see this point moving through time, which is essentially what happens with us. We don't have this arrow from the past to the future. We're moving on a standing wave. That particle reality enables us to exist within an experience for some reason. That's the overview of how the quark field exists and what it's made of, essentially the energy quotient within it. And the 0 point field is this enigma that exists, or you can be fairly sure it exists anyway, and provides a baseline, a bedrock for everything that comes above it. So in your terms and my terms, how we use this information is very personal to us. But what we can say with some conviction is that we've got this constant toroidal effect going on. We do have more control over how we view things than we might imagine. And what we believe to be the case in terms of our existence, what contributes to our existence, what influences it, and what we can gain from those influences and those things that exist, are important in our quest and our future line, how we orchestrate as best we can our future line into the way we want it to be. So who knows, the 0 point field, it may provide some elucidation that's important for you. Hopefully you're going to want to go into more depth about this and have a look at the science for yourself, because it's important stuff and it's very interesting. Don't worry about equations, you won't find any equations here. Look us up, yeah. Come and join the group on Facebook. Look at the websites. Buy the book if you want to. So in the meantime, have fun with quantum. See you soon. Bye.